Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to be discussing Havas's left hand technique and what she believes about the left hand. So to begin with, let's go ahead and get relaxed. It's really important to remember, especially with the left hand, a lot of tension. Our students have a lot of natural tendency to tense up because this position is not natural to the human body. So let's do our winging exercise. So we're going to just stay very relaxed and we're going to wing out, flip, flop your hand. And then when we flip flop, I want you to freeze. And I want you to pay attention to what happens to the left hand. Naturally, we're going to get kind of a collapsed hand over here. And our natural instinct as string educators is to fight that and straighten up and get the kids in this position from the get-go. But Havash wants to have her players come into that position as naturally and as relaxed as possible. So once again, let's try it one more time. Freeze here, very naturally relaxed. And this Havash calls the giving hand or the gypsy hand. So it's naturally created after winging, and the wrist will turn slightly upward in the flip-flop action. Okay, and so it's naturally going to create that collapsed wrist. Finger movement from this position, when we're thinking about adding the instrument in, I want you to think about moving your fingers from the base. So right now, go ahead and have all of your fingers and move it from the base joint. And that's a kind of a different way to think about finger motion too, is the movement coming from this base joint rather than from the tip, the fingertip. Okay, so one more time, start from your thumb. Just move the fingers from your base joint. And try and stay as relaxed as possible, being in this giving hand or gypsy hand position. Okay, looking good, everybody. Another idea that Havash thought was very important. So after players get into position, she demonstrates this really beautifully in her videos, but she'll come and she'll actually put her fingers in between the student fingers, opening the webbing between each finger and checking to make sure students are very relaxed and muscles aren't tightening up. So now, how if I don't know if we can do this is kind of an intimate hand on hand. Today, I'm not sure we could do that. Maybe if if you're comfortable with some students, I don't know different relationships, but I think in times like today, it's hard to like even think about locking hands like this with a student. So I guess be cautious if you do decide to do this. But she does it with her in her videos with adult players. And she encourages students to think about when they begin, or teachers, when they begin placing down their fingers, not to teach one finger at a time, rather to teach that there are 4 different notes that can be played, that which would mean 3 intervals are being played. So let's take the G string. Think about the notes of a G string, starting with the first finger. We have G as the open string. First finger would be A, B, C, and D. Now, flip your hand, and I want you to think about what finger positioning would you be in for all 4 fingers with A, B, C, and D. So flop your hand out and then go to A, B, C, D and try to stay as relaxed as possible. It's kind of hard to do. It's kind of hard to stay relaxed. Okay, so 2 and 3 would be together, creating a bigger opening here and a bigger opening here. And teaching notes this way, very cool to think about teaching from the get-go with students all 4 fingers and then introducing intervals from the get-go. Okay, let's do it again, but this time A, B flat, C, D. So 1 and 2 would be closer, and then the webbing between 2 and 3 and 4 would be a little bit open. Okay, now let's do A, B, C sharp, B. Staying relaxed. And then 3 and 4 comes closer. And again, not doing any of this with an instrument, but encouraging students to think about it separate from the instrument so that they can maintain a very relaxed hand. Then creating a good tone with the left hand. She has 3 different actions. We can try this together, and this would have the instrument up. So the first one is called the slide. Students would slide their fingers horizontally, so this way, making contact with the left side of the string, avoiding pressing firmly, and locating the harmonics of the instrument. So we're not pressing down at this point. So I'm just staying very relaxed, and I'm just sliding on the left side of the string. The left side of the string is really smart. And the idea is to create, so if you're thinking of the right hand side, you're going to find that the hand gets in a very wonky angle. But the left side of my hand, it pulls my elbow under the instrument, and we start getting more of the positioning that we're looking for in our students. The next one is the cuddle, where fingers create a sound chamber. And so this idea is all fingers are placed, and we're thinking to cover the string with all of our fingers and creating a sound chamber. So if you look down, I'm cuddling and I'm circling above the strings, creating that chamber. And then the tilt and lean, number 3, is bringing the elbow to the right underneath the instrument. So that would help get us out of like a true pizza wrist. Left side of the string, sound chamber, elbow under, and we have our positioning, which is naturally created with those 3 things. And then our 4th finger she addresses to bring the thumb up closer to the 4th finger to help the pinky reach. A different idea, never tried it before, but moving the thumb, let me see over here, yeah, so moving the thumb up, and it creates, the whole hand becomes more rounded and circular. And that to me is very logical. When teaching 4th finger, then it feels really comfortable. So have your students try that, and that may help. And then lastly is vibrato. The vibrato column is naturally created when the bow plays on the string. The Havas idea is that vibrato shouldn't come from us controlling it with our left hand. But what she does, and you can try this with a bow, is you just want to lightly touch a note, pull the bow, so on A string. That's an out of tune A string. Let's go with G. G. So there's natural vibrations. So the vibrato should come from the idea of amplifying those vibrations. So I'm going to pull down, and the vibrating column is going to cause my finger to vibrate. So I feel those vibrations, and I resonate with those vibrations. Totally kind of out there thought, but it's really interesting. So Havas believed that the left hand controls the tone, and then the bow hand, the right hand, responds to that left hand. So a lot of different things to think about, from the collapsed wrist to moving the thumb to vibrato being controlled by the right hand, and then left hand being the cultivator of the tone. All of those ideas are maybe a little counterculture to what most string pedagogues teach and believe. So maybe that gives you food for thought. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments about those 4 things that are a little counterculture. Thanks for listening. Bye, y'all. See you in class.